All right, so we are here to do a little refresher on the command compliance. A lot of questions have been coming through, and we're trying to field them as much as possible. We feel that we just needed to do another class just to make sure that we can get all this information out to people and make sure they stay happy and file it themselves.
Telling us we're not using SkySlope anymore.
We are done with SkySlope. Stuff yesterday, we are done with SkySlope. So there will be no more SkySlope entry there. And if you do put it in, you're going to get a lobby letter
Medical, dental. So then you do full-time here. And then you'll get all that. Profit sharing. Free training. College tuition reimbursement plan. PTO and holidays. Yeah. Seriously. Yeah. We smacked that out.
Stuff is really cute. It was different. This was.
I know, huh? Like once I take a shower, I'm like what was it yesterday? I jumped in the shower. I was like, I know. What about to do it again? Oh.
It's so much. Yeah, so much good. She's really good.
Hey guys, if you're joining the class, let's make sure to mute ourselves.
Sorry about that, everyone. Trying to get everything all set up all by myself, and it's been fun so far. Hold on. There we go. Me real quick. All right. So let's start over. No more SkySlope. SkySlope is done. If you haven't used SkySlope, purge that from your mind because you haven't used it. So you're good to go. You're already starting off on the right foot. If you forgot and you've entered a file into SkySlope, you're going to get an email or a call from Joanna saying, you need to move that over. What do we need to do to help you out to get that started? So that's the point of this class today, is to hopefully get you guys on the right foot so we can get you going. We're going to start out over here in command. And first things first, in command, you've got to make sure you have your contact loaded in to do an opportunity. If you do not have your contact in here, you're not going to be able to do an opportunity, which allows you to do the document submission for review, which won't allow you to get paid, because you won't be able to enter a commission request either. Whether or not you do that for upload all your contacts at one time, or you're just uploading one for this particular transaction, that's up to you. You can do either or. It's perfectly fine. But you do have to have those contacts in. We're not going to go over how to do contacts. If you need help with that, get with me. We'll get you set up with that. To start an opportunity, we're going to start off over here and show you right over here, opportunities on the sidebar. We'll bring you directly to the page we're at right here. I'm going to go straight to all opportunities just so you can see what opportunities are in here. We're going to start off with one that we've been using here. Carnegie is selling his White House property here. And when you create the opportunity, let me just go back here to the beginning just to show you. You have create an opportunity right up over here. You have the ability to do it within the contact card as well, but we're just going to show directly from this point because this is the easiest way to explain it. You click on create opportunity, and you have some options here. Market center is always going to remain the same. You're not going to be able to change that. You work here, that this opportunity is here, you're out of this office. If you are on a team, you'll have the option to put your team in, or it will automatically default to the team. If you are not on a team, you can remove it and do it as a personal one. If you're not on a team at all, you're not going to have that option at all. It's going to have your name in. Let me go back and switch myself over to the non-team side. Right here, super important. See this big red star right here for this opportunity type. You need to change that. If you're doing a purchase, if you're doing a buyer, you must select buyer. If you're doing a listing, it must be listing. Otherwise, you, number one, will not get credit for the right type of thing you're doing, and number two, it will make Tom angry.
And Beth.
Tom and Beth angry.
Yeah, very angry.
We cannot,
If it's a referral, then we just put what it was, even if it wasn't our listing.
correct,
Okay,
correct. So if you're referring a buyer to someone else,
yes,
do a buyer.
or
Absolutely.
they're referring listing. Okay.
Yes, correct.
Great.
And a question, and going back into that, will that automatically change
The
the
checklist,
checklist?
there are
Or you-
two types of checklists. One set of checklists for listings and
Right.
one set of checklists for buyers.
Right,
On the listing side, you will have the listing portion, so all the stuff you do before you're in
Right.
under contract as you have a buyer. And then you'll have under contract, which is all your buyer stuff that's
but
coming.
if the agent put it in as a listing, if I come back to this and change it to the buyer. will
You
it
won't be able,
automatically-
you won't be able to, once you submit it this way, it's now, once you select that checklist, it's now stuck, you actually have to
Redo it.
redo the opportunity. So thank you for bringing that up.
Okay.
If you put this as a listing and you, oh, wait, I'm sorry, it was supposed to be a buyer, you're gonna have to redo the entire opportunity because you can't switch the checklist. It's already locked to that listing checklist. Or
Or
vice
we
versa.
can change that?
So that's a command thing. We would have to put in a request for feature.
So it's like, once you create it, it's created, that's that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to continue with it. You can call it a lost opportunity if you want to, or you can just archive it and start over. That's fine. Really, it doesn't come down to anything for the commission or document submission side. It doesn't change anything for that. It's just your own personal organization stuff. So yes, do make sure you pick which one you're gonna do. Right now, we're just gonna select listing for right now. This is why your contacts must be in your database. You have to select your contact. So that's Justin Carnegie again here. And you can start typing stuff in and you'll get to it. They'll put them in right here. If you have a second person that is signing on this contract, you must put them in as well. Unless you-
Is there gonna be room for a third if there ends up being a third?
Thank you for jumping ahead on me, but yes,
Sorry.
no, you're good,
Sorry.
you're good, no. There is no room for third and fourth and fifth. You will have to put those in the notes and we will go over exactly where that's gonna go.
Okay.
But right now, command is set up for just 2 individuals that will be set up. Again, that's not gonna change your document submission, your commission stuff. This is just the organization side on command. And that is one of the feature requests that are in, is to have multiple extra boxes for other people. So you would put your second co-seller or co-buyer in here. Here we come to the opportunity name. So we have a little bit of leeway, but we also have some specific stuff for you as well. We don't care what you name the opportunity, whether you use an address or in this case, the contact name, which defaults to that, and the type of opportunity is. But if it is a entity, like an LLC, a trust, a corporation, you must put that in the title. The reason for that is Joanna does not know what type it is until she's deep into the audit and the review portion. And then she has to go back and redo what she's done for the audit because she doesn't know what it is. If you put that in the title, she knows exactly what she's dealing with and what is supposed to be in the document. So it's very important that you put corporation, LLC, trust.
And then is that when it's only on, like, so right now I have it on it's not on my side. So it's only if it's on my side, the person I'm representing. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, so like my person's not a
Well-
trust, my buyer's not a trust, but the seller is.
Because
So
we don't
that,
care about your buyer
It's
document.
only my
Yeah,
buyer.
we
Okay.
only care about your buyer.
okay,
We don't care what
What
they
they're
do on theirs.
okay.
Yes, so if you want to change anything else here, you're more than welcome. Like I said, if you want to put the address, you want to put other nomenclature in here, you have a specific type of titles that you use, go ahead and do that. We just have a requirement that if it is an entity to make sure that that is in there. After that, custom.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I thought I could do it too soon, but I can't. They kept it down for the- Yeah, yeah.
Good, awesome. Custom. Sorry about that. Custom tags you can skip if you want to be able to organize your specific opportunities. You're more than welcome to go ahead and do that. You don't need to. Estimated close date is not a requirement, but if you do want to put it in there, you're more than welcome to do it. It just helps you remember what dates and that kind of stuff. Estimated listing price, obviously you would want to put that in there, but it is not a requirement for you. You will have to enter that later on though. Your commission rate is required at this point. You can put in any commission rate as of right now. It's not locked down at this point because we do negotiations do happen and things change. By the time you get to the commission's submission area though, that is the point where it will be locked down and it must be accurate. So in this case, we're just going to do 3.5. This is your commission rate. This is not the total commission for the entire listing. If you're on the buyer side, obviously you have whatever the listing says for the buyer's commission, that's what you're going to put in. On the listing side, if you're going for 6%, you're not going to do 6%, you're going to do the percent that you get. From there, yes,
When agents present both sides,
we're going to go over that. That's completely separate thing, and we need to talk about that once we get past this point. We've had some issues with that, so we'll go over it. From this point, if you don't care about using the command pipeline to its full utilization, you're just throwing this in here for commission and document review, switch this over to active. It must be inactive. Amethyst, you got a question? I see it coming.
I know. So when our TC is doing this, like, are we doing this before our TC does it? Like, are we setting our TC up and like, because we have to do this to do our commission side, or like, how, is it all up to you and your TC's relationship? Like, what is happening?
Bingo. It all determines on what you want, what your TC wants you
So
to
we
do.
need to circle and figure that out.
Yes,
Okay.
so in this case, Steph and Tom, what do you guys do for the office?
I go with active, I start there.
Well, I mean, what things do you do? Like,
Do you initiate this, or
All
do
of
you
it.
let the agent initiate this and you take it from
No,
there?
I tell them, don't touch creating an opportunity
Don't
because you
touch.
won't make it the way I want it to look. So
So,
you stay
okay,
away.
because it helps you organize it that way, so it's a benefit to you to do it.
For her, yes.
Okay.
For someone else, it may, someone
So
may,
I
go,
have
I don't
to
wanna
touch
do
my TC.
any of this. My
Okay.
TC is gonna handle all this because I want nothing to do. That's
Okay.
fine, but that's what you have to come
Okay.
up your decide with your TC whether or not you wanna do it.
Everything's for negotiation.
Yes,
I love
absolutely. Just like business, everything's for
Okay.
negotiation. I want that bathtub too, give me the bathtub. No, yeah, if you're going to use the pipeline as it's meant to, you can track all your stuff and see where your business is going, how your business is doing and that kind of stuff. You can go through the different stages, but in this case, we're just using this as in you only care about document submission and commission. So it must go into active for that to open up certain sections. The opportunity stage, don't care. We're fine. So I'm not going to create this one because we already have the one. I'm going to come over here real quick. In case you ever want to find your opportunities, hitting all opportunities will bring up everything that you have created an opportunity for, including closed ones. So let's go straight to this one. Once you create your opportunity, you will be sent to this section here. Don't mind all these extra things because we've already done this a couple times. You can resync all your stuff with DocuSign Rooms to pass the information that you've edited over. In this case, we've done that a couple times, but the first time you have not synced it, you will not see this stuff. So just pay no mention to this stuff. If you want to come in and change some of your information here, it's really hard to see, but right up here, there is a pencil. You would click on that and it'll bring you to a larger screen of what you first had the first time with extra information. You have appointment schedule, appointment dates, agreement one, that kind of stuff. And then you have a close date in this particular one. Again, anything with the red star is required to save. but everything else is not needed as of right now. So you can come in and save all this stuff in case you need to change it. We have your property information. So if you do have a listing, you will want to fill out that information because it passes across the entire system. It will auto-populate into DocuSign rooms. It will auto-populate into your commission section as well, and your offer section. So you're more than welcome to fill this in. If you have a buyer, you can do the same thing if you want to, but it is not a requirement for either one. It's not required. You have a seller worksheet here as well if you want to enter any of that information. Again, not a requirement. It's just an extra tool for your tool bag in case you want to use it. One of the big things though down here is description. This is where you're going to enter in your third, your fourth, or your fifth co-seller, co-buyer. You will have to hit the pencil here and it will bring up a little description area. What you're going to need to do is going to fill out their full name and some kind of contact information, whether it's an email or a phone number, just to have that on file. 2, if it is an entity, the LLC, the corporation, the trust, you must fill out what it is here. We need that information. So we'll go in this spot right
So it goes in the first one and the second one, both places. You name it that.
here. So you just put LLC, but now we need the full name of the LLC.
Oh, okay, okay.
Sorry, I was not clear on that. You need the full name of the LLC, the full name of the trust, the full name of the corporation in this spot right here. Unfortunately, there is no spot for that kind of stuff as of right now. Again, it is a feature request that we've asked to have added in. Don't hold our breath, but you know, if it gets there, it gets there. There's a lot more important information that they're trying to dump into the system. So for right now, until that changes, all that stuff's going to go here. Do you have any questions about everything so far?
When I was creating mine,
Mhm.
there was a space where it said, turned on notifications to your client.
So,
And I did not know, I didn't turn it on because I wanted to know what are they seeing.
in this section here or a different section? Because it's not in this one.
Yeah.
updates and stuff of corporate. See if they're.
Right here, this client update.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
This, is that what you're talking about?
Yes,
Okay, so that is, if you use the pipeline to its full potential, you can have automatic emails sent out to your clients. When you check stuff off on the checklist, you can add checklists into the pipeline. What that means is, as you move them through the different sections, you can update them on, all right, we've got the inspection schedule. We have the appraisal back. We'll automatically send these updates automatically out. If you want to do that stuff, let me know. We'll sit down and go over it. For this particular spot, we're assuming you're not going to use that, and we're just going to bypass that right now. That's extra stuff on top of everything you got to go over. So in this case, we're just going to leave it alone. If you want to learn about that more, we'll go over that. So, but yeah, these are the options up here. You have different checklists that you can go. Actually, let's see. So we're inactive, and you can see the different checklists here that you can put in. You can make them client updates so that they get an email. And this way it automatically goes out at the end of the day. That's essentially what it is. And so that is that so far. Do we have any other questions about the detail section so far? Okay. So with Sham's question, if you're double ending the deal, you're going to have to create 2 opportunities. 2, one for the listing, one for the buyer. We are going to ask you to put all your documents for review under the listing side. So your buyer stuff will go in the under contract side. You're not going to fill out the buyer side of the checklist for the document review. We're going to have you put it all on one side on the listing side. So where it gets kind of a little funky. You're going to have to create 2 offers, one for the listing, one for the buyer, and submit 2 commission requests for the listing side one for the buyer. That's how we are right now. We'll go over that again later on, but I wanted to bring that up right away, that we're gonna be creating 2 opportunities.
So you really only create the buyer opportunity so you can have your commission separate because everything else is going on the side,
Bingo,
only for that.
perfect.
Cool.
So just wanted to put that out there. We'll go over that again as we get to the offers and commissions. Seller profile, we're gonna skip completely. You're not gonna do anything with this again unless you want to, to use the full pipeline. We're just gonna skip this for now. Documents, this is where it's all about. This should kind of mimic SkySlope a little bit for you. It should look a little resemblance if you've been in SkySlope before. So on the listing side, I was talking about the 3 checklists. So we have listed, this is all gonna be your stuff for your listing side before you have a buyer submit an offer. So all the documents are over here. You have optional, required, and then on the other section, we have conditional. They're all named the same way. +3 is still your 3-day due documents that you must get in, and if you don't, you'll get something from Joanna about what's going on. She can see that. So we have all these here. We have under contract, which is your buyer has submitted an offer. So with the double-ended deal, you're gonna put your buyer stuff in here. So once you get them from your buyer in a regular deal, you're gonna put them in here, but when you have a double-end deal, you're gonna put your buyer stuff in this. You're not gonna do it on the buyer side and then put it again over here. You're just gonna do it one time. Then we have our close section, which again, we don't need for buyers. You're just gonna put everything in. Do you wanna talk about that a little bit more? On the documents for the double-ended deal and that kind of stuff?
I mean, no, basically it's just that,
Okay.
or everything's gonna be together. I know it's gonna show as an additional checklist, but
Do we want in the description area that it's a double-ended deal, or are we just fine with them not?
I think it's still a good idea to do that because that's also something that Desiree will look at as well.
Down here in the description, I know we're asking you to put a lot in the description notes, and there's not a lot of places for this stuff. Try to put in here as well, if you are double ending it, this way we at least know right off the bat, that's what we're looking at. So we can look for the other property and make sure we put them together, so you can review them together. For that and for the commissions.
On the contract, since you can't stack docs, usually you'll end up getting the RPA in page 10 is if it needs to be confirmation of acceptance hasn't been filled out. What do? Do you put it down at the bottom of that checklist as an add document?
When you're gonna update something, it should give you the option to put it in the same one, you're just updating.
So you're updating it, and then when you
Right.
go back and look at the history, it shows that you did put the RPA in a certain date and then also.
Correct. It'll
Okay,
still give you the
gotcha.
date.
All right.
Yeah.
It'll let you like add to it, like even once
So-
it's been approved, the
so
first
when
part
you-
has.
Correct.
So
Okay.
you have the ability, so when you add a
Okay.
file in here,
Yeah.
you have an option before it's been accepted or rejected to remove.
Right.
So it has not been looked at yet. So Joanna I have not submitted this for review. That's why the button is still active, and I can remove this document right now. So it's as if, oops, I put the wrong RPA in, oops, that my buyer or seller forgot to do this. I caught it before I submitted it. You can remove that document and put it in. Once you've submitted those documents, you no longer have a remove button, you have an update option. So the original stays in and you update it by placing another
Add
document in its placeholder. The original document will remain in there. You won't see it unless you go to the document. And then under history, you'll have different versions. And you can view each version as well. And that's how Joanna knows, okay, I rejected it for this, the new document shows, okay, I see you changed this, we're good to go. Or if on the new document you missed something else, she can reject that one and you put the third one in and she can go through each version, making sure everything is good to go.
So is that how you audit it? We can throw the page 10 with the confirmation right over top of,
Do you want page 10 in the
I mean,
RPA slot or do
the
you want page
RPA
10
goes
separate?
away. It goes away if you put the page 10 in there.
Well, like
But
he
it
was
should be
saying,
just
I can
read
still,
it out.
I still see I
You
can still
see it.
see.
So you're okay with that? Okay.
Yes.
So on our end, it looks like it's gone, but on your end, you see this history spot?
Well, but you have to go look at it,
Yeah.
right?
You will see the history. Everyone has access
But
to
if
the
that's
history.
okay with you.
Yeah.
You can't see the history. The document is still technically there. You can download the document at this point, all of it right here through this little cloud download button.
Yeah.
You should be able to download both documents. So it is technically still there. You're just putting something on top.
Over it.
It's to keep everyone accountable. If you remove a document that's been accepted or rejected, we want to make sure that you're not changing anything else from the first version.
Which is one of the struggles that we actually had with SkySlope. SkySlope, you did have the ability to remove stuff, and you're not supposed to. So once I rejected and put my notes in there, we have to leave that original document there. And then you can put your new document under the correction there as well. With Command, you won't be able to remove anything, but you can update it.
So you'll see the trail,
I'll
you'll
still see
actually
the
see
trail.
the real legit trail
Yes.
of what happened.
Your paper trail will be there, yes, absolutely.
Cool.
So when submitting documents, you have two options here. You have the ability to add a file, just one file. If you have your DocuSign, your free KW DocuSign hooked up to Command and it is ready to go, you get this option for DocuSign. We will be going over DocuSign itself in its own existence next week, hopefully, and go over that. It helps you out quite a bit. It is free for you. So it's definitely an option to look at. There is a PDF splitter within DocuSign Rooms, and there's multiple functionalities within there to help with this stuff. You don't have to download, re-upload.
That's what I was gonna say, that it benefits you for not having all of that stuff on your computer, because it'll just take it
Exactly.
and
So if
take
you were
it
to click on
space.
DocuSign, and if you have everything synced up, you have the ability to choose from DocuSign what document you want to throw.
Okay, I wanted to like hate this whole change, and now I'm kind of loving it.
That's how a lot of people feel, so don't feel bad. Also there, you have the ability, if you decide you don't want to do it, you can drag and drop your files. If your TC says, hey, look, I don't really want to do that, look, they have a certain way they work and they work fine with that, let them do that, that's fine, there's nothing wrong. You also have the ability to attach multiple files at one time. So that gives you the entire checklist, and again, you have the option to do the manual drop and download, drag and drop, or use DocuSign. If you use DocuSign, you have the ability to click on each one and go through and put your docs in.
That's pretty cool.
The cool part about this too is once you put them in and you attach it, they're now closed off for you to add on top of that. So you can't double dip into that placeholder at that point. So it keeps you from adding more documents into it. You've already added your RPA, and it's not going to let you put your RPA in again, unless you remove it. So all that is right there. You have, I'm not sure, show archive if you archive stuff. I don't know why you would need to do that. So, yeah.
So when you do that, when you attach multiple files,
Mhm.
you have to be careful because, and everybody's gonna think I've lost my marbles, but the command ghost, which is in Command, there is one, and it does funny things. The last time I attached multiple files at once, it submitted, and I wasn't done uploading it to the auditor. I didn't want it submitted. It submitted itself.
Yeah, I've not been able to redo that bug. You're the only one I've heard that from. So just be forewarned, if something like that happens, let me or Desiree or Carnegie or Joanna know so that we can immediately go, and if we need to, kind of clear it out on our side, we can kind of help with that and get you situated. But once it's submitted, it's kind of submitted at that point. I'm going to go over that here in a few, but I've not been able to recreate that. Unfortunately, I've tried several times and I haven't been able to, so I'm not sure. It just may have been, one of those weird things that
It
kind of
was
happens.
weird, and it's funny because if you clicked on submit.
Oh, yeah.
Because it brings up a window and you have to click submit again. You have to click submit
Yeah,
2 times,
just like that.
there it is.
It gives you the warning.
And so if you did that and if you didn't, and if all of a sudden it's submitted in the middle of your work,
Yeah.
then
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
it is a weird.
I've not been able to recreate that, but
It's
again, if
scary.
that does happen, do reach out to us. We will do whatever we can to kind of help you out. You have the ability to communicate with Joanna. You have the ability to add comments in. So in case you do have some questions and stuff like that, you can do that here. And Joanna's going to go over that specifically. So
Yeah, so with this, it's very, very, very important. the way that we're gonna be talking to each other, just like in SkySlope, when you were able to make the notes right next to the placeholder of the document. This is a little different. It's gonna show up under, whether you're in the listing checklist or you're in the contract checklist, that's where the notes are gonna show up.
Oh.
Now, if, for example, there's a requirement, yeah. So, if there's a requirement, it's showing as required, and it's not applicable to your file, this is how you're gonna let me know. So not every transaction has HOAs or CCNRs, but you'll notice that it will show as required or a pest clearance. You're just gonna go in there, make a note and let me know, hey, Joanna, there's no CCNRs, HOAs, or pest clearance is not applied. And so we still want you to provide that information to us. I know it's still gonna show red and required, and it's gonna be left blank if it doesn't apply, but as long as you have your notes in there, then it's covered. So anything you want me to know, any particular document, whether it's the RPA, counteroffer, anything that you're having issues with or you want to notify me of, that is your place to put the notes and let me know. So that way I know, okay, you're working on this, they're already working on it, they're missing signatures, looking for emails, something like that. So this is your way to communicate.
Any questions on the notes section?
Yeah, when we put the note in, then Joanna, will you, such as with SkySlope, you turned it blue, not applicable, when we put the note.
Yeah.
Now, will you turn it approved, or what can you turn it to?
Unfortunately, with Command, we don't have that option yet. We're
Feature
hoping-
request, feature request.
Yes,
feature
it's a
request.
feature request. So hopefully at some point they will allow us to do that. And that way your file looks complete. But this is why it's important to at least put the notes in there, because I don't have the ability to remove it or put it as not applicable. So, but I won't request it or ask about it once I see your notes.
Okay,
Will it only show that the comment was made over here in that side? It won't show on this checklist that a comment was made?
Correct.
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 But that's with your comments. My comments, when I reject something, you will see it under the document.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a quick thing on the notes as well. You're not gonna get an email. You're not gonna get a text message
So
notification.
you gotta check in.
You're gonna get a little red dot on your bell, letting you know you have a notification. If you have Kelly, the Kelly app, on your phone, you will get a push notification that you have a note. Now, your TCs that are logging into your command obviously won't have that unless you want them to
Yeah.
connect the Kelly app for their own use. They will have to come in and check daily to see
So
what the notes are and see if there's any notifications.
one of the things that we recently learned as well, that we now have had agents and TCs confirm that they're getting some information is, first of all, before I go to that, I just want to say regarding notes, when you put the notes in there, it's always going to show up with the agent's name, not the TC. Beth is really good at putting her initials. So I know if this is her file and she's working this file with the agent. I highly recommend that. So LTCs or admins, it would be great if you guys can put your initials. That way I know, that what TC belongs to what.
It says you because I'm logged into mine right now. If she was looking at it, it would say Vincent. And if she
Yeah.
replied to this, it would be on the
It would
left
just
side
say-
and it would say Joanne.
Yeah, and then so now, can you go back to the listing checklist? Okay, so on the listing side, once the whole checklist has been completed, everything has been uploaded and approved, I have the ability to change the status to approved. So that particular checklist is going to be approved. You're going to get, the agent is going to get an email saying that it has been approved. If now we're under contract, so you're putting your RPA and all disclosures, however, the checklist is not completed, you still haven't put in your contingency removals, your VP, visual inspection, I have the ability to change the status and I'm going to put it at return. The only reason why I'm gonna put out a return is so you get the notification that it's been reviewed. So, but the checklist is not complete yet because we're still missing documents. Well, the escrow hasn't closed yet. So it'll show as a return. But once the checklist is complete, under contract checklist, then I will put it as approved. You'll get a notification for that. And now at this point, we're probably just waiting for closing documents. So that's the only one that's going to be incomplete.
So I did want to go over what the status updates is. Right now, you're seeing that it shows not uploaded because I've not submitted these for review. Once you submit them for review, it'll be showing as uploaded. When she goes over review, she will either accept that document or reject that document, and that will change right here. Overall, you'll have other statuses that are here that I can't show you right now because I don't have anything in there. There's resubmitted. When you submitted a second time, it will be resubmitted. And then there is one that returned. Yeah, and there's returned as well. And changed, yeah. So if you changed something in there, it'll show it's changed before you have submitted the document for a review.
So can you use the missed button as well? Because that's very eye-catching, and it as soon as you pull that up, you see that the auditor is saying, you don't have this in there yet.
Yeah.
So if you put in missed.
Yeah, so because I have the ability to go, there's a little checkbox, if he has something uploaded there, there's a little checkbox on my end, it'll show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could click on that box and it will say missed. So that is something I could do that way. It's very noticeable when you guys still have to upload.
Yeah,
That would be good.
yeah, that would be nice.
Mhm.
Okay. that's-
So we did jump a little forward, actually. You have the ability to select different checklists as well. So if you are doing a residential one, you'll have residential, and here you have vacant land, you also have, oh, commercial's there. Why is that commercial still under residential?
I don't think they
No,
care.
I think it's
They
just the option.
Oh, it's just, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, because I
Yeah.
haven't submitted yet, it allows me to change the check. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
once you change the checklist, I think we've already started. But yeah, there is now a commercial checklist in there for you guys to use. Thank you for being a little patient with us on that. Those commercial checklists are not exactly
And
easy
now
to
that-
do,
yeah.
so.
Now that we're able to create our own checklist and edit as we go, we're kind of trying to revise all the checklists that we had in SkyFlow, all the options to make it as easier as possible for you guys and not have all kinds of documents showing on the checklist that really are never used. So that's where we've been kind of taking a little bit of time to re-review everything and see what we want to leave in this command checklist versus what we had in SkyFlow. And it's still a work in progress, but the good thing about command is that if I ever had to add anything in there and you already have a transaction pending, and I add something new, a new requirement, it's going to immediately show on your checklist, where with SkySlope, it didn't. So there was a lot of, for example, if you guys remember when we had P's, there was a lot of files that still had the P showing as required when they
Yeah.
weren't required anymore.
No
So-
peas,
couldn't get it
no
off of
peas,
there.
No peas,
no
yeah.
peas.
So now, if I wanted to remove something because it doesn't apply anymore, I can remove it and it's gonna show on all your transactions immediately that it's no longer there. So yeah, we have that.
Just have more control.
Cool,
Yeah,
yes,
speaking to adding more things, in case you have an additional document that you have to put in for this particular transaction, you have the option to add an item. So with adding an item, we need to know what the document name is. We need you to be very specific on what the name of this document is. Whatever it is, be very specific on the document. Also, you have the document type. Be very specific on the type of document it is, because if you upload and if you say this is an addendum and it's not an addendum,
I'm gonna question it.
she's gonna reject it and go, what are you doing?
What is
Because
that?
it doesn't normally have a spot for that stuff, right? So if we do
We
need
do
an
have
addendum, we
some,
make that
we do have some spots for it, but if you need an additional one,
additional, okay.
this is where
And
you
then
would do.
do we have our like retention thing in there too?
There is a spot in there for the document retention, which is in the close,
It's
which
just already
is
in there.
right
Yep,
there,
okay, cool.
right there. So, yeah, that's always a question about that one, but you can add any items. Commercial stuff usually has some weird wonky stuff that we just don't, not every transaction is gonna have that. So we don't have those specifically preloaded into the checklist, but then you can add that item in case you do have that document that needs to be reviewed.
Yeah, so thank you for the affiliated that you added.
Oh, yes.
It immediately popped up,
Correct.
so we could
So
put it
that's,
in.
yeah, that's a cool feature. we
So
have.
like,
Yeah.
if we and our TCs don't get this all right the first time, and we're not like obviously getting in trouble, right? You're just gonna be like,
TC
do it
gets
like
fired.
this.
Yeah.
No,
You're doing it wrong.
we're gonna send you
Do
to,
it right.
we're gonna send you to the detention room.
Exactly.
And make you.
And we're
Right.
gonna make you write out on the chalkboard, I will not mess up anymore.
You
I'll
guys
do it
No,
time.
write the
absolutely.
letter.
We are still new with this, as you guys are, and we are still learning stuff every single time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Believe me, we understand that this is gonna be a little bit rocky as we move forward.
It's,
We're okay, we're gonna work with you on this, we're not gonna say, just stick it red and
yeah.
go walk away. and have fun.
Okay.
No, we're gonna try to help you out every step of the way.
Awesome.
We just wanna make sure you guys have the fundamentals and foundations in place so that we don't get asked the same question over, how do I add a file? How do I add a file? How do I create the opportunity? How do I create the opportunity? That stuff you guys should know. If not, please come see me, Carnegie, Desiree, Joanna, and we will
And-
try to help you out to get you to that.
Is creating an opportunity now, like, is that the like, within 3 days, getting everything in part of it? Like,
That's your
obviously, 'cause
document
you have
review,
to
so
do that to
whatever
start
your-
it all.
Whatever your contract says you dated, you
Yeah,
executed, you have to have it in for submission within 3 days of that execution.
like all
Yeah, that's-
into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
only once you've accepted the
Yeah.
offer. Yeah. Once
Okay.
it's an accepted offer.
Yeah, because I can create the opportunity because I already know I'm working with this person. So it's just once you start adding these docs in.
Once you have your executed,
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
absolutely.
So that drop down, the drop down, when you're adding an item, that gives you the choices, there you go. Is that something that the office can regulate, or is that,
Or is that's a command thing,
That's
right?
command, that's.
Yeah.
command.
man, they didn't do an advisory. It needs advisory big
Yeah, it
time.
really
Yeah,
does.
yeah,
Really
so,
big
so
time.
anything that's not there, you
Would that be
can,
under authorization advisory?
that could be, yeah.
No, an
Well,
advisory is
go
not an
down, so anything
authorization.
that you guys don't, there should be an other, right? Is there another?
No, that's the
Okay.
thing.
Yeah,
So sometimes,
I don't have access to that
Wait a
unfortunately.
minute, hold on.
Yeah, there's
Yes,
a-
there is another.
Yeah.
okay,
Sorry.
Yeah, so
I was like, wait a minute, I've seen
two
two.
roll bars.
Yeah.
so we'll just put advisory under other. Okay,
And I've done that too with some.
okay, okay.
So far with this, do we have any other questions? I want to make sure we're opening up to make sure people have questions. Anyone in Zoom have any questions?
Yes, I need to
Okay.
figure out how to.
No.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Go ahead.
Hi, guys. I need to figure out how to reset the passwords on my Kelly app so I can get that in tune and then also get the DocuSign account set up. Other than that, everything's pretty clear. Thank you so much.
No problem. The Kelly app is going to be your command login. If you need help with getting that, talk to me or Desiree and we can get that figured out for you.
I will definitely talk to you because I already tried my command credentials and it didn't work.
Perfect. Okay, send me an email. I'll make sure we get that out to everyone who have my information real quick. So we'll get that out to you. Is there anyone else?
Are you gonna record this video so that you can watch it again?
We are recording it right now and it will be up on the YouTube channel. We're also going to be making videos directly, me and Carnegie will be doing more of a professional one where it's just me and him sitting down going over this stuff so that the audio is very clear for when you rewatch these things. So,
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm on my cell phone and I can't even see the writing or anything, but
no worries.
Thank you.
Yeah, it'll be up on the YouTube channel. We'll have a couple more up there as well.
awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem. All right, so we're gonna move on a little bit.
Hey,
We
Vin.
have a little, yes.
Mario had asked in the chat about adding an item. Can we add a comment to Joanna before doing so?
Wait, adding an item like a comment for it or?
He said, if not sure on adding an item, can we add a comment to Joanna before doing so?
Yes, if
Oh, yeah.
you're not sure of, adding an item or how to go about doing that, yes, you can add a comment on there. I get those comments. I get the notification, so I
Okay.
will see the comments.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you for the questions. I really appreciate that. The last couple times we've done this, there's not been
No,
many questions there for people sitting in the room. So we really do appreciate that. So we're moving on a little bit here. So we have a little listed thing over here. We have another checklist. So what you have here is, in case your deal falls out, you don't have to create a new opportunity. You can create a new checklist, a new version of it. So in this case, we've already done this. We're on version 3. So we're going to just say this is buyer, I can spell right, buyer 3. And yeah, we just click the new version and boom, all the documents that were in there are gone. The most important thing here is you put in your cancellation in the other checklist. We will not accept any documents in this one until that cancellation is in and approved on your previous checklist. So this is for your listing. This is for your buyers too. So you go in with your buyers, you're going through the process and you decide you're going to go out. This is not what you want to do. You're going to change to a new checklist instead of creating a new opportunity. This way you don't have to do all that work all over. And then you can always go back and change your details over here that you need to change. Okay? So that is part of that. And as you can see, we've got 3 different checklists in here. It does go by alphabetical type of stuff, listed checklist before the buyer, after the buyer 3, even though this was the second one I did. So it is by alphabetical after the first one, which is the original one. It will default automatically to the current checklist every time you log into it. So you do not have to switch it. It will always be on the current version of the checklist. All that said, hit that submit to MC. We will not get any notification that you have any documents in there until you hit that submit to MC. If you do not hit it, it will not be reviewed and it will sit there. And it will sit there. And it's going to sit there until you hit submit to MC.
Yeah.
We do not get notifications like we did in SkySlope.
Yeah, and just as a reminder, even if you hit submit to MC and you just got 5 more documents signed by, the buyer from DocuSign, you can continue working on your file. You can continue uploading. Once I review everything, you'll be able to resubmit those additional documents. And it'll just be a click of a button because you've already worked and uploaded those new documents. So I just won't be able to see those additional ones until you've resubmitted.
Just an added note too, after you submit for the first time and documents have been reviewed, it's no longer going to be called submit to MC. It's going to be resubmit. So the button changes. It's in the exact same location. It does not move anywhere. Does not change color. It's just called resubmit. So that's pretty much documents we put in, review, and all that fun stuff. We're moving over to the commission sections here. Once you have an offer in, this is where we get kind of funky. Command and KW in general want you to put in all your offers. You don't need to. You can just put in the offer that you're accepted. Generally, they want you to put in every offer so you can do your pros and your cons and do your analysis and make the client feel all fuzzy and warm that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. But in this case, if you're just blasting through this and want to get this done, you're just going to put in your offer. I am going to try, we'll do a new one here, create offer. What you're going to need, you can call this whatever you want. You need your offer date, so the date that it was fully executed on. You have your close date. You have to put in your close date in here as well. I would do it here instead of in the commission tab, because in the commission tab, you're going to be days away from doing it and you don't want to forget this stuff. So put it in now right here. From there, you're going to move on to parties. Depending on which side you're on, it will auto-complete the information that you have in your contact and for yourself. The other side, you just need to put a name in for the buyer, which you will have in your contract. And then you just need the other agent's name as well. You don't need any other information. It does not matter for the commission request. You're going to click on terms. Go. See, that's what happens when you don't do it. You come over here. This is the actual offer here. You are not going to be able to change the sales price. To modify the sales price, you must put in the cash amount and the finance amount. cash amount includes the down payment. So any cash, any and all cash that's going in must be put under here, and the finance is over here. So we're just gonna put,
And you mean only for down payment, not closing costs, right?
correct,
Okay.
correct. Closing costs are not in this particular price. This price must match what is on the sales price on the contract. So however they're split, you're gonna do that. You're gonna put in your earnest money here. I would suggest putting in the dollar amounts because this goes to the 100th percentile, which is very odd. So that can change the earnest amount on this side. So if you have a dollar amount, like 3,000, just put 3,000. Yes.
So I understand that this has to match the back on the,
Yep.
other one, the cash finance amount. I understand it needs to match the contract, so it doesn't matter that if after you got an appraisal in, somebody now wants to put down 10%, they don't have to only put down 5%. That, it just has to match the contract amount, not what's actually happening.
You
after
want to
the
try,
fact, if
you
that
can
changes.
change it, yes. And we want you to be as accurate as possible.
As to what's actually happening.
Yeah, we want you to try to be as accurate as possible. So
Okay,
you can modify that.
okay,
You can go back and change it.
okay.
I think you can change it in the commission side too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can change it in the commission side as well. And we'll go over that here.
So you could put in what you think your commission's gonna be, and then once appraisal comes in, adjust.
Yes.
Okay,
From that point, after you put your earnest amount in, you're gonna ignore the rest of this. We've determined that we're not gonna use any of these options. They don't flow well with what we do here in California, so we skip those. So you're just gonna hit agent analysis at the bottom. If you're not going to use the pipeline to its full potential, skip this. Go to save, and then you're going to, in this case, we just put this one in. I have this one, we're gonna change this response. There we go. You have the option to accept that offer. So you will hit accept, and then you'll have the button for manage commission. At this point,
and
this
that's
is-
how you go to change it.
yes, we're gonna go over that next. Yep. is the manage commission.
Again, and so we just negotiate with our TCA as to whether we do this or they do this. It doesn't matter to you guys who does anything as long as it gets done. Okay,
You can't get to commissions without doing this.
okay.
You can't fast forward, you can't skip this portion. It actually.
I mean, I would think that if my TC already enters that stuff into SkySlope, they'd be doing this for me too.
If they want to, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So you're gonna click on manage commission, and this is where you're just gonna start filling out the commission stuff. Yeah, we're ready.
You ready for me?
We're ready for you.
Hey, that's right.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ready?
Okay.
Over. I'm gonna say over
You
here
want
in
to
the
get
corner.
these out to everybody?
Yeah.
I have a little, I have a little cheat sheet for you guys on command commissions as well. Getting a lot of requests of like, where do I put this again? So hopefully this helps simplify it for you. Please keep in mind that, that this is going to be a work in progress. We're learning just as you guys are. I've already made adjustments. So if you received one of these at the very first command commission training, please note that there are changes on here based on what we've experienced, based on agent feedback, et cetera. So take a look at this. So basically, once you're in this commission screen, I promise it is not that difficult. You will learn it. It will be easy for you. I am here to help you. This is here to help you. Carnegie, all of us are here. Joanna are here to help you through it. So don't be shy about it. Joanna, would you mind just making sure that nobody's asking questions in the chat while we're talking, please? Thank you. So here we are. I can't see. How does it see?
It's difficult. I know. It's a weird angle.
All right. So right here in this top area, before you do anything on your payment, you obviously want to make sure that the sales price is still accurate. Okay, make sure your commission rate has not changed. All of this is accurate. If it all looks good, then you're great. But if you need to edit anything,
You can see there in red, contract date is not there. So you have to go in and edit that. That's why I told you at the beginning, if you put it in right away, you won't have to worry about that.
so contract date is the date that you're either accepting the offer or.
Fully executed.
Okay. Sure, I'm just gonna put that in for now.
Yeah, whatever.
Wait, you said fully executed.
Yeah.
Meaning that
No.
everybody has accepted.
Okay.
So the seller and the buyer.
Sign.
Okay. Okay, once all of that is good, come down here, this is really where your commission are. So let me explain, the payment side over here is where you're gonna enter all of your changes. Okay, this is where you're gonna review, what are you getting paid, what are your royalties, et cetera. Now, you won't be able to manually change any of this stuff right here, because that's automatically calculated for you based on your economic model that you signed.
okay? Over on the right-hand side is gonna be the summary of information. So everything that you put in over here is ultimately gonna get summarized right up here on the top right. That make sense? Okay, so you can see that based on the information we put up here, we got 1 unit, agent gross commission is 17,500. Net paid to agent after all of the deductions and everything here, looks good, right? Except for that we have some deductions that we need to do. Most of you work with a transaction coordinator, right? That needs to be put in here. Most of you have a transaction fee, all of you have a transaction fee, right? Either the 125, or if you've already surpassed your 30 transactions, it'll be $50. Okay, that needs to be put in here. Some agents like to donate to KW Cares, or kids can, or maybe they contribute to their education fund. All of those things, you're gonna edit as a deduction. Where we're going to do that is under edit agent payment. Okay, you click on that edit agent payment, you see everything that's up here. By the way, if you make any changes, you do want to hit this calculate commission button so that everything updates before you make any other changes. You do not have to worry about any of these unless you're donating to KW Cares, Kids Can, Gold Scholarship. Everything else that you deduct is going to be right here in extra payment options.
Like that.
Everything is channel referral. Okay, so I'm going to click on add item. Let's go ahead and put in the deduction for your transaction fee. So that's going to be your 125. You don't have to worry about the tax ID. It doesn't have an asterisk, so you can skip it. Okay, I'm just going to title this transaction fee.
Please be very clear on the description as well. We'll just see whatever you put in there. So if it's some mumble jumble stuff that we don't understand, Desiree's gonna be like, what's this? She's just gonna charge it for it anyway.
Yeah,
so.
most likely I will know, like I'll know if it's transaction fee, or some people have put in office fee. Okay, I'll understand if I see office fee 125, I'll get that, but just please make sure I'm sticking with transaction fee as kind of my basis. It's simple for me. Who you're gonna pay to. This could be Keller Williams, or it could be South Hall, either one. But again, just so that I know it's coming here to the office. Because it's asterisk, you do need to put in an address, but obviously if it's our office, I'm gonna know that we're gonna do that. Just put in the office address, type in the office phone number. Whoops. And then we're good to go. We can add that. Can I take the address?
Yes.
Okay, and you can see that the transaction fee comes up. Any questions so far on that?
Yes. Mario has a question, and he's saying tell about credits to buyers and sellers.
Excellent question, Mario. Thank you. Okay, let's. Yes, exactly. And if you look at your sheet, it should have that as well. You're going to come here to add item, concession. You're going to choose the amount. Let's say it's $1,000. Is the concession on the closing statement? Yes. Off the top?
Yes.
No.
No?
It has to be.
I thought they always.
Has it changed? It did change. You guys didn't let me know that.
Yeah, I found out too.
Yeah.
What was this change that we need to know about?
Yeah, what's the difference to us?
What was the change?
It's how it gets calculated in our system. When we put through your credit to your buyers, we're taking it from the commission that you have already been paid out. So it's not coming off of the top before your split, it's coming off after your split.
So we're losing more. Giving more.
Depending on if you're capped, it's coming out of the transaction at a different time. Okay. Okay? What? All right. Any other questions?
What about an outside referral?
Outside referral? Absolutely. Outside referral, still right here. I know this has an option for inside referral, but this is not where we're going to handle inside referral. I will show you that separately. Okay. Outside referrals, you are going to put here. And what's beautiful about this is everything that I'm going to need for that is going to be right here.
Is an inside referral only in our actual office, or is it any Keller Williams?
Our office.
Okay.
Thank you. Excellent question.
Yes.
All right. Now, the other thing that I have found, the percentages, like Vince was saying, are to the hundreds, it gets a little bit confusing. So if you can, go ahead and put the referral amount that you're going to be paying out to that referral right here. So let's in this case say, whoa, let's not do that much. All right, let's say. More realistic here. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, 3,500. It automatically calculates your percentage rate. This tax ID, super important for me. Okay. Sometimes if you've already worked with them before, I may have their tax ID on file already. But in some cases, you're working with a brand new referral, I might not have it. So having their tax ID number or their social security number, depending on which one you need to enter in here, is super important. So I can actually pay them and enter them into our system. So please go ahead and put that in. If you need help finding it, let me know, talk to your TCs. It's generally on the referral agreement if they filled it out correctly, and we can help you identify that. Okay, obviously you're gonna wanna put in the broker name, information, all of that, and hit the add button. Any questions on outside referral?
What about suite number?
What about suite number? So this came up, so for instance, for our office right here, we're 4080 Trexel Road. We also have a suite number. It doesn't let you put the suite number in here. Okay, it's kind of a bummer. We're trying to work on it. We're giving them feedback. We'll see what happens. But in the meantime, what you're going to do is there's this neat little add note button right here. This button is where you can communicate things to me, okay, that you weren't able to do, or maybe you have a question, or hey, hold off on the commission demand, we're still waiting. Whatever it is that you need to communicate to me, this is your area to do that. So you would put in referral address, needs, suite number.
You clicked the add note under summary?
I did.
Okay.
Add note under summary. Okay. You can put that in there. The other thing that needs to go in this add note area, since we're here, I'll go ahead and tell you now, is the title information. Okay. So I need the company. I need the file ID if possible. I need the escrow officer. I cannot type on this one. Officer and their email. Okay, please put that information in there. If you do not put the title information in here, I will be returning the demand because I can't send it to title if I don't know where it goes. And unfortunately, where you guys have your documents is not where I can see it when I'm processing the commission demands. My screen looks very different from yours, so I can't access it. So this is the best resolve that we have for you to get that information. So just copy and paste it on over. I'll read through it and that's how I can do it. Any questions on title info and where to put it? Yeah.
If we put this information under detail description, is it okay or it's working?
I think he's asking if you put it under the title information under the detail side, is that okay? For the detail, for detail.
No, I won't.
She
You're not
doesn't
gonna
see
look
it.
at it. Yeah.
She
So
can't see
my
it.
screen looks different. When I get your guys' commission demands, I don't see everything that you see on your end. So the only screen that I get to look at is what's here on the managed commission screen. So that's the only way you can communicate.
Yes,
Okay.
these notes don't go into the note section on the, under the checklist or anything like that. These notes are completely separate.
And you'll see it comes out and it kind of melches everything together. It's ugly and a headache for me to read, but luckily you don't have to worry about that. I do. Okay, so just put the information in there. I will read through it and I will find it. Just make sure if you need to communicate to me anything is in here.
And then on the notes of the notes, you have the notes up on the top as well. Those are notes specifically for you for this transaction. None of us can see those notes. We have no access to those notes.
Only under
Yeah,
summary.
so if you put something in notes up there, we are not going to see it. We have no access to that. That's your notes about this file.
Okay, and I do put that in here as well on the, under the escrow and title information. I say notes area beneath the commission summary. Okay, it is double-sided. The front side kind of tells you everything that I'm going over right now. The back side has a quick link to the answers.kw tutorial on how to do commissions as well. They have a neat little video. It also gives you some checklist items just to make sure that you've hit everything before you've done.
Are we gonna put this up for people on Zoom? How are we gonna get it?
Yeah, we will be emailing this out,
Perfect.
okay, for people on Zoom. All right, now, yeah,
I have a referral check to enter after this. Will somebody help me do it, please?
Sure.
Oh, yay, I'm so excited. Thank you.
No worries, all good. Oh my gosh.
okay. Now, we had went over outside referrals, we went over your transaction coordinator. Well, we didn't say it, but transaction fee and transaction coordinator, all of those deductions are gonna be in that extra payment options that we went over. What we haven't covered is that inside referral, right? So when you have a referral to somebody in our office that you need to do a commission split with, by the way, if you are in coaching, this is gonna be the same way that you add your coaching fee to Amy, is going to be this way as well. Okay, so basically, let's assume that this is a coaching fee, right, to Amy. We are going to add another agent, okay? Before we do that, you're going to want to edit your payment on yours to whatever the units are that you're going to use. So if it's a 90-10 split, or maybe you're paying the referral 10%, right? You're gonna come in here, you're gonna change your units to 0.9. Calculate that commission.
And sometimes you may not see that change until you hit save changes. But sometimes that does happen where down at the bottom, your net to agent doesn't change right away. Once you click save changes, it will change on the main screen.
Okay, let's say you have a 25% internal referral. That's usually a common one if you're not in coaching, right? 25%. So that means you're going to get how much? 75. So we're gonna put in 0.75. Come over here, calculate the commission.
You see, it didn't change down at the bottom, but once you hit save changes, it will change.
Okay. Gives it 90.
All right.
All right. Now that that's done, you can see all the changes that are in there. You know that the units are off. It's not going to let you submit this with the units off, by the way. It will yell at you and it'll say, sorry, the units are off. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to add another agent. And this is fun because all of our agents are in the system already. Okay, so let's just take Amy for instance.
I mean, I'll take it.
All right, so here's Amy. Okay, it's automatically going to default to the remaining amount. So if you do have 3 people that you're splitting with, like some of our teams do split 3 ways, then you'll want to adjust that unit and calculate again.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But here it is. Hit that. I always recommend just getting the habit of calculate commission, regardless if you made a change, just to be on the safe side. Calculate commission. And then you can come down here and you can make any of the additional edits that you want.
And again, just to point out, even though she hit calculate commission, it says net to agent down at the bottom, it says $0. That's okay, because once you hit save changes, it will calculate that.
Okay. The other big thing, if you have an internal referral that I would like you guys to keep in mind is those transaction fees or TC fees. If you guys are splitting those in any way, shape, or form, you will need to add those in here as separate deductions and calculate how much that person is paying on the split versus how much you're paying.
If RTC has questions, do we just circle them in with you guys? Like, how are we doing this?
Absolutely.
You can email me, Joanna, Desiree, Carnegie, and
Okay.
just add us into the email conversation, or
Okay.
just give them our information and let them reach out to us if that's, whatever preferred way they'd rather do it.
Okay, great. And then you said you would email us this sheet that you gave us? Okay, good.
Yeah, and I can send it to Kelly for you.
Awesome, thank you. She's like, can you scan it for me? I'm like, I think that they can like email it for me, but I can fax it. I mean, you need to.
Awesome. So I just changed that back to 1 unit just for the sake of it, but any questions there? All right, what else do you want me to hit, Vin?
Submit,
Submit!
not right now, but yes.
Submit,
We will not get this unless you hit submit. You're not gonna get paid.
yes.
You're not gonna
And
submit.
And please, 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 we're kind of giving you guys a guideline that we want you to go ahead and submit them about a week in advance to close. Because we're still trying to gauge how many are gonna come in at one time in this. So we're asking for a 3 to 5 day business window for me to process. So a lot of times these days, people are hitting submit. Did you get it? Can I get my commission in? I'm like, hold on.
No.
Okay. And just so you guys know, I am trying to get them out as quickly as I can. So my goal is to clear my queue by the end of each day. Sometimes it happens and sometimes honestly it doesn't, because I feel like every time I clear my queue, it's like 5 more pop up, which is good. I want you guys to keep putting them in. It just means that I might not be able to get to it that very same day. So give me a 3 to 5 day grace period, business day grace period, and get that in a week in advance if possible.
And that's just for now.
Yeah, that's
It
it for
later.
now. Yeah, and again, I'm gonna try and get them out quicker, but give me that grace period. If for some reason something happens, it's a short close, maybe it's closing sooner than expected, anything like that, and you need it faster, just send me an email, contact me, let me know, and I'll do my best to accommodate. Okay, once you hit submit, you cannot make any changes into the command commission. If you hit submit and you go, darn it, I forgot to put my transaction coordinator fee in there. Okay, send me a message, let me know, hey, please don't approve the commission, I forgot the TC fee. I'll come in, I'll return it. I'll let you know that I've returned it. You'll also get a little notification up here that tells you that your commission has been returned. You can go in, make the edit and resubmit. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Yeah. That's why it's also important to have that Kelly app for right now, to get those push notifications. This way you don't have to, you don't forget to, if you're not used to logging into Command, or you're not going to be using Command as often as some of us are doing, that's the only way you're really going to get notified. There's no email or is there an email for that one?
I don't get an option to email them.
Okay, I'll double check on that one, but I don't think there's an email for that.
Yeah. When I do hit return, like on my commission screen, instead of the submit button right here, I get a return button. And so when I return it, it does ask me to add a note in there, and I'll tell you. So like, I'll put agent requested return, right? Or if you're missing that title information that we talked about, is go get returned, okay? And you'll see that, but you'll see the note that says why it was returned. Okay? Once you hit submit and I have accepted the demand and I went ahead and put that into our system, then Command will just officially stay locked in at what it is. There's no changing Command at that point. I can't even return it or terminate it at that point. I can still make changes, preferably don't want to at that point, right? But I can still, you'll just need to communicate with me separately.
There is a terminate commission button as well once you submit. Just so you know, if you do terminate commission, you have to do this all over again.
All of it.
Everything.
Okay, so I put on the very bottom here, do not request termination unless you are truly canceling the contract.
Yes.
Okay, do not request termination unless you are truly canceling.
That requires a new DA number and an entire new thing, so we have to do it all over again.
Did I cover everything, you guys? Do you have any other questions on commission?
Anyone on Zoom? No?
Everything in general seems so much more clear today.
Good,
So thank you.
you got it.
I've been like mentally fighting it, and now I feel like much better about it.
And I am, you guys, like, I know people are gonna sometimes forget those transaction fees. Actually, I didn't mention that. Like the transaction fee, or if you have office dues with the office that come out of your transaction, technically, we will still include those deductions even if you don't have them on here. But I'm going to recommend to you that you go ahead and put them on. And for these first rounds of commission demands, I'm actually going to be calling you and saying, hey, you forgot the transaction fee and the coaching fee or this and this and this. You sure you want me to go ahead and approve, or do you want a chance to fix it. I'll help you through it. I want you guys to know how to do it. The ideal situation is that this commission summary is identical to the demand that I send out to title for you, right? You guys want to know how much you're getting paid. I want you to know how much you're getting paid. So I want it to be as accurate as possible. And I will walk you through it.
So with that being said, we're pretty much done with it. We know we ran over by about 15 minutes or so. We do appreciate you guys coming out and joining us yet again. If you have any other questions or need some help with something, now is the time to speak up so we can answer some of those questions for you.
So I have one last question. So on, I think 2 of my agents' commission screens, I do their commission screens up to this point, then that's their money. However, I put my fee in case they forget me. And I put the escrow information as well.
Okay.
Only one of my agents did accidentally click on remove and took out all my information.
Yes, that is the
Do
remove
not
button.
click on that,
That
folks.
will remove that note. So yeah, do note
Do
that.
not click on
If
that.
you want to edit it, do not hit remove, hit edit, please. That does remove all the information that was there. And if you don't know what was there,
I know, but
So-
my question is, on 2 of my agents' screens, I forgot to put in the earnest money amount. How important is that earnest money? What is it?
it
What is
calculates
it
into
for?
the sales price and that kind of stuff. So it just shows that you're putting earnest money into that deal. It's still either in the cash option
Yeah,
or the finance option, one of the both sides.
I was wondering,
It just breaks down what specifically is the amount for the earnest money for that particular sale.
okay. And
So you do want to be accurate with that because it does go into everything. So like I said, it's not going to end everything as long as the sales price matches what the sales price on the contract is. That's the big deal because that's how the commission portion is taken out. It's the percentage of that plus the units. So that's why it's important for that. But having the other things as accurate as possible shows on the back end, which you guys don't ever see, what's broken down. And so we have access to that stuff. So. Anything else? Anyone on Zoom? I guess everyone's an expert. Awesome. So we should get no returns or anything at all. I like the sound of that.
Vince,
All right. Like I said, you guys, we are here for any questions, any help you need.
Vincent?
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I do have a question, and I hope this is not a stupid one. I'm still in training, but are we entering the offers and commissions in with the contract, the documents? When am I supposed to enter in the commission? Do I wait? Do I do it upon contract, or do I wait for a particular time frame?
You can do either or, depending on your scenario and what you're comfortable with. Know that if you do enter your commission stuff in and you're not sure if you do it really early, I would suggest not hitting the submit button right away because you will go through negotiations. You may end up having to change that stuff. So this way you don't have to go to Desiree and later an email and say, hey, I need to change my commission. You have the
So
ability.
it will save until you actually submit.
Correct. It will
Still
sit,
will save,
it will
just
sit
won't
there.
send
So
it
if
through.
we go back out right here and just go back to all opportunities and we, not the sections, opportunities, come on, load up. Go back over to managed commission, everything we did is still there. So it will save it and hold it there. And so you can come back to it later. So it's up to you what you feel comfortable with, but I would wait until, me personally, I would wait till I know exactly what the deal is going on and then give that week time frame and then submit it about a week before. This way you should be pretty close. And if something happens, something happens. We know that's going to happen. So. Does that help?
Has a deal ever been canceled after commission has been submitted?
Yes.
Well, so what happens to that commission?
It gets
Is it
canceled.
retracted?
It gets terminated. If you end up hitting the terminate commission, if you go all the way, you submitted your commission and the deal falls out 5 days before it's supposed to close and you're done, it's over and done with, you're gonna hit terminate commission request. And
Got
you're gonna put in the notes as to why you're terminating the commission request. And that's it. It just goes away, bye-bye. And you
Got
start off with another one.
So the deal has to close and then the commission, gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Cool. Anything else? Bueller? Bueller? No, we're good?
Thanks, guys.
Okay, well, we are good to go here. Amy's looking in the door here. She's fiending to get in
I
here.
want to invite you all to the class that's happening next if you're
Oh, yeah.
feeling froggy. I have Leanna Haldor. She's a mega agent. She's with Guide Real Estate. And my old brokerage, I used to be with KW Sacramento. Anyway, she's fantastic. She built her business around client events and her sphere. And she's gonna sit down and talk to us about what she does and how she executes that. And so if you guys want to show up, the Zoom link is on the training calendar, and if you're here, just hang out. We'll be on in like 8 minutes.
I co-signed, she's my coach, she's awesome.
Yeah!
All right. Well, thank you for your time. We'll be in touch with you guys. You guys can be in touch with us, and we're gonna do everything we can to kind of help you out with this stuff. So thanks for coming. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Tyler.
Very good. Perfect. But I did get your date submitted, so as soon as I get confirmation that it's uploaded, I'll do that.
So we have.